We have it on good record. Dr. Besigye was supposed to be killed at Riverside. This I speak on good authority, and I don't want to mince words. The assignment are given to the mercenaries. Eliminate him, execute him. It was just by the grace of the Lord, a supervening factor came in. I think by divine intervention. Yes, when you talk about one act of God, that is survived by a whisker. Only the act of doing rendition was just an afterthought. But the mission finished him from there. Of various political entities here. Our host here, the leader of opposition, honorable members of parliament present here, members of the press, all the dignitaries. First of all, I would like to correct the impression here. I wasn't invited as the Lord Mayor here. Yes, I hold that title. I'm proud of it. I was duly elected, but I'm not here as the Lord Mayor of Kampala. I am here as the acting president of the FDC, sitting at Katonga, now in transit to PFF. So I would like that to be duly recognized because we had a delegates conference that convened at Katonga and I was duly elected. And we have an institution we are running there. We are in the process of morphing into PFF. So I headed a delegation here comprising of Honorable Waf here, Honorable Bakandonda here, and also Honorable Doreen Nyanjula here. I would like to thank the principals here of various political entities for organizing this arrangement, this forum, to jointly come out to condemn these transgressions. This is not a matter for Dr. Chiza Besigye. It's not a matter for Obedi Kamlegea. It's not a matter for the NUP victims who are languishing before the General Court Martial and of course in other ungazetted detention facilities. It's not a matter for General Muntu or any of us. It's a matter for all Ugandans. We are talking about universal human rights. We are talking about a travesty of justice, which is under our watch, superintended over by people who are supposed to take charge of the country under the existing constitutional order. The greatest concern to all of us, the Constitution right now is a mere paper tiger. And that should concern all of us. We oftentimes talk about the Constitution being the supreme law of the land, but that's no more. It's an illusory document which is taking a direction parallel to what the powers that be are doing. It's incumbent upon all of us, regardless of our political differences, different political affiliations, to rally in a single file and take on the bull by the horns. And I'm glad this morning we have assembled here to make this proclamation that we stand in unison against this injustice. We thank you very, very much, all of you, the principals, for the firm stance you have taken. For the record, the General Court Martial is not a court. And I will request from our vocabulary to expunge it. We should expunge it from our vocabulary. It's a disciplinary committee. If you want to be civil enough, you can call it a tribunal. But it's not a court within the meaning of the law. It's a misnomer, even under the Constitution, under our laws. It's not a court of competent record. It's not a court of judicature. When we are looking at the hierarchy of courts, it's nowhere. It's like the discipline and, is it called Discipline and Rules Committee of Parliament? It's not a court. So by continuing to call it a court, we are sanitizing it. And we give that facade of, trial being conducted by an impartial court, which is not the case. So let us call it what it is, a disciplinary committee of the military, where they are dragging civilians to subject them to martial law. And it's high time we came out together, assertively and aggressively, to say enough is enough. We have exhausted the legal processes of challenging the jurisdiction of this court, this tribunal over civilians. We have done that before. And I would like colleagues here, without singling out individuals, at least the Honorable Medard Segona here led us very well in the case of Kabaziguruka, where a court unequivocally pronounced itself on this matter. Unequivocally. 2021, a decision was made. The Attorney General made an appeal, which is still pending. And those of you who are interested in this ruling, which was given by by Justice Owinyidoro, 2021, staying execution of that proclamation, they were very instructive directives. He said, since this is a matter of great public concern, urgent in nature, it will be fixed and disposed of expeditiously. That was way back 5th August 2021. We are now in 2024. Maybe in his diction, with all due respect, the word expeditious has acquired a new meaning. Because if up to now it has not been disposed of, and I want to tell you for the record, since then, the justices of the Supreme Court were handling, many have passed on. Justice Opio died, Justice Arach died, Justice Justice who retired, Mwonda, Faith Mwonda. Now it's just Chibita and Owinyidoro who are still there. And there is no indication as to when it's going to be disposed of. Members of Parliament who are here, Article 79 is very, very clear. It's a duty of all of you to protect, jealously, to protect the Constitution, the sanctity of the Constitution, its spirit and the letter. Let us rise to the occasion, regardless of our political divide. As I conclude, the proceedings continue tomorrow. The proceedings, the Impandi proceedings, continue tomorrow. The worst experience you can have as a practicing advocate is to appear before that committee. We had long taken decisions never to appear there. I remember, for the record, I want to again remind those who are not aware. It's not the first time Dr. Besigye is appearing there. 2005 he was there. And when we appeared with my brother here, Yusuf Nsibambi, then one of our legal counsel was bold enough, and this is what is demanded of all of us. The late Samuel Kaleganjuba, when he looked at the whole hostile environment in that room, manned by the late General Eri Tumwine, he said this is a kangaroo court. He described it aptly. This is a kangaroo court. Then Eri Tumwine, in a bullish manner, with all, may his soul rest in eternal peace, asked, who has said it? Who has said it? There was a deafening silence within, I don't want to call it a courtroom, a room for a committee, I don't know, is it a committee room? In that committee room, there was deafening silence. Then Sam Kaleganjuba boldly stood up and said, I said it. Mwine rolled his eyes 360 degrees. Said, he didn't know what to do about him. This is exactly what we need to do. Simply because you could not drag him to the dock, he had to pounce on the little ones, myself and Alak. We had to pay the price. We were dragged into the dock, court-martialed, and convicted. So I appear before that court, both as a counsel and as a convict. And look here, gentlemen, this is a very serious matter. You are having non-lawyers presiding over serious matters. The offense under Section 128 of the UPDF Act, under which Obed and Besigye are charged, carries a maximum sentence of death. Death, once they are convicted. Death. Arms Act, you know the sentence, being in possession of military hardware. These are very serious offenses. In the case of Amon Tumwebaze, which was decided in 2022, the Constitutional Court was unequivocal. They said all cases which are within the purview of the civilian court cannot be tried in the General Court Martial under the Penal Code, Firearms Act, and whatnot. Their jurisdiction is restricted to only matters which are under the Penal Code and for service offenses. Now the charge sheet of Dr. Besigye, now it is stretching to Geneva, it is going to Greece, Kenya, wherever. Ladies and gentlemen, I kindly ask, let's rise to the occasion. It's the reason lawyers from all over the world are joining us. This morning, Martha Karua has come back. She has already landed. We are going to have a press conference shortly after you, and members of the press, you are invited. She has a package for you on the next phase. I think we are now going to engage another GIA. We are in GIA number 4 or 5. I don't want to tell you the second GIA we are engaging. So shortly after this, I invite you at State Hall. You come because there are issues we are trying to address. There is another lawyer who has also joined us from Angola. He has also just touched the ground now. There are those who are coming from Nigeria, South Africa, and across Africa. Let's team together. Let's take the bull by the horns. Let's marshal all the efforts we have. We put an end to this insanity. Together, we must decisively deal with this madness. Otherwise, tomorrow it will be you. Finally, we have it on good record. Dr. Besigye was supposed to be killed at Riverside. This I speak on good authority, and I don't want to mince words. The assignment are given to the mercenaries. Eliminate him, execute him. It was just by the grace of the Lord, a supervening factor came in. I think by divine intervention. Yes, when you talk about one act of God, that is survived by a whisker. Only the act of doing rendition was just an afterthought. But the mission finished him from there. On another occasion, we shall furnish you with the details of the same. So on that note, I want to end here by inviting my brother here, Mayanja, General Mayanja. No, it's not a general, it's like myself. I remember in the General Court Martial when I went to stand surety for General Sejusa, they asked me whether I'm a four-star general, and I was flushed out of that committee.
Especially the leader of opposition for inviting us today for a common purpose, for a common cause. I have been already introduced, Mayanja Chibiriga, and I don't need a lot of introduction. And I am from the Justice Forum. I'll just take this opportunity to introduce one member of the Justice Forum here, who is here. If there is any other one, he will let me know. But so far, I am with the Karunji Masmus, who is from the Justice Forum. Of course, we are here to condemn the abduction of our colleague and then being arraigned in the court martial. And that's a very, very serious issue for all of us as opposition. I'm sure none of us here is safe. So it is really our duty to come up and take joint action like this. And I thank the leader of opposition for convening us in this fashion, because this is the only way we can really deliver a message that what was done was wrong, it was inhuman. Dr. Besigye was abducted in Kenya. So I'm not so much of a lawyer, but the scene of crime was in Kenya. How Uganda got the jurisdiction to go and abduct people from Kenya, the lawyers will tell us. But I think the Kenyan government also can be said to be involved, because otherwise they neglect the security of Ugandans or the security of non-Kenyans, and which puts all our lives in danger, that when you are in Kenya, anytime you can be abducted. So this case has implications on the East African community, implications on the international system of justice, and so on and so forth. But while all of that is going, we are saying that there is no reason why Dr. Besigye should be kept in prison. He should be, he should be released. He should be released. He should be tried in the civilian courts, because the lawyers have already emphasized this case. So we don't have to say much. It is enough that we have demonstrated this solidarity when one of us is being denied justice. And I want to thank all of you for making it to this interface with the press. So I take this opportunity to invite Honorable Winnie Kiza Besigye as Honorable Winnie Kiza as the next speaker. Winnie.
Political parties and formations that are in the room, our leader of the opposition, members of parliament, members of the press, we gather here today to condemn the manner in which our brothers, Dr. Kiza Besigye and Alhaj Abed Kamlegea, were abducted from Kenya, where they had gone on their personal and individual duties. Our elder, Dr. Mayanja Kibirige, referred to me as Honorable Winnie Kiza Besigye. I take it with dignity. Dr. Kiza Besigye is our mentor in politics. And in fact, when we were starting our political struggles, and I was named the Minister of Community Service, Gender and Community Development during the Reform Agenda time, the media said the Reform Agenda grouping lacked leaders, and Besigye decided to name his wife and positioned her in Kasese. So from that time, I was referred to as Dr. Besigye's other wife. My husband is aware of that. And where I go, they call me Winnie Kiza Besigye. I don't take offense. So I come here to join the other colleagues to condemn and stand in solidarity with Dr. Kiza Besigye, wherever he is, and Abedi Kamlegea. It's so sad that Ugandans can look at this matter as a matter of Dr. Besigye. Today is Dr. Besigye, tomorrow is you. And I would like to say that an attack on any member of the opposition should be looked at as an attack to all of us. We join here as leaders of different political groupings because we know that Dr. Besigye believes in the unity of the opposition. And so when we come here to join hands to condemn the act and condemn the President of the Republic of Uganda, the manner in which he's dispersing the issues of this republic that is putting us in jeopardy as a country, the manner in which he has muzzled all state institutions and he thinks he is going to export this to other countries, is another issue that we should worry about. When Dr. Besigye is accused of committing atrocities in Greece, atrocities in Geneva, atrocities in Kenya, and is arraigned in a military court in Uganda, is an issue that we should worry about in terms of diplomatic missions. Because I don't know at what stage President Museveni became the president of Greece, became the president of Geneva, and now is taking over the issues of Kenya. As a country, we should get worried. This should not be a matter of Dr. Besigye. It's not a matter of only the members of the opposition. It's a matter for all of us, the citizens of Uganda. We should also be bothered that other people from other countries are getting concerned about the justice system of Uganda. And that we as citizens are at peace with ourselves. And having said this, I would like to invite all of us tomorrow to Makindi. One, to show solidarity, and then two, to send a signal that we are dissatisfied with the way citizens and non-military personnel are being arraigned in court martials. It happened to our people in the Renzoris in 2014. Citizens were arrested, arraigned in court martial, in a ground. Actually, the court was seated in a ground. And the judge was there, dancing around and about. And we knew this was an anomaly, it was an injustice, it was an illegality, but it continued. Those of us who saw it happen, we condemned it. Some citizens remained silent. Friends, it is an issue that we should all raise up to condemn, an issue that we should be preoccupied with, because it is an issue that concerns all of us. I would therefore like to call upon all of us to stand in solidarity. One, with Dr. Kizza Besigye, but two, to condemn the manner in which they were arrested. Three, to say enough is enough, the way citizens are being treated, that anybody who has a different view from that of President Museveni is looked at as a rebel, is looked at as an enemy of the state, and so it defeats the purpose for which the Constitution was made. There are provisions of free association, freedom to associate, freedom to speak, freedom to assemble, but if all those freedoms are now no longer available for us, the citizens, then I don't see whether we still have any constitution to call a constitution. Friends, as you may be aware, lawyers came up to say we are taking on this matter. But as up to now, the Honorable Martha Karua's certificate that he asked for has not yet been granted. I would imagine similarly to other lawyers who want to come. What is the meaning of this to us as citizens? These are issues that we should begin pondering about and work harder to defend, because it may happen to Besigye today. When it happens to you tomorrow, there may be no one to speak. Or all the other energies will be depleted. So we need to come together in solidarity. We need to support one another at times like these. And then we need also to continue showing our government that they can do better. And that we as citizens will not just look on as they violate our rights, as they manipulate the Constitution, And as they do illegalities in our face, we shall continue to speak, just like the speakers before me mentioned it. There is no amount of intimidation, there is no amount of coercion, there is nothing that is going to stop us from speaking what we believe in as being the right for the people of Uganda. There is nothing that is going to stop us from demanding for justice. There is nothing that will stop us for demanding for good governance. I want to thank you for listening to me, and I want to call upon all of us once again, let us be at court tomorrow. And we continue to make statements to our nation and the government of President Museveni that the capture of institutions will not stop the will of the people to happen. We shall continue fighting, we shall continue mobilizing, we shall continue speaking no matter what.
I bring greetings from the Conservative Party. I have been told to thank the NUP for organizing a meeting of this magnitude. We in the Conservative Party think that if arrangements of this kind go on, we are capable of collectively fighting the omnipotent dictator. And I think that Honorable Bob Wine, Honorable Kyagulanyi, you have opened a window for the opposition to begin working cautiously, mindful of the dictator. With reference to a case in law known as Human Rights Network versus Attorney General and others, the Constitutional Court ruled that the content of POMA that was stopping politicians or political parties from holding meetings and demonstrations are null and void. They did not stop there. The court added that as if that was not enough, the contents of Article 92 of the Constitution stop Parliament from passing any other law to replace the one which has been nullified. When the Attorney General says he was appealing against that judgment, he's deceiving himself. Because Uganda has already ratified the International Covenant on People's Social, Political, and Economic Rights, meaning that we do not expect the Supreme Court to nullify the laws that we have already signed for as a nation. The time is now for all of us, the political parties in Uganda, to work together and fight that dictatorship. There is nothing that stops us from calling public meetings and demonstrating publicly. Who is doing that? Now, on the matter regarding Dr. Kizza Besigye, thank you very much, honorable members of the political parties, for coming together to respond to the clarion call of NUP. Dr. Kizza Besigye, whom we are remembering today and we are fighting for, is a great fighter for freedom. He has persisted all the years to fight for human rights in Uganda. And nobody can succeed the war of fighting for freedom without persistency. That is why up to now we honor Martin Luther King Jr., we honor Mahatma Gandhi, we honor Nelson Mandela, we honor Benedicto Chwanugovaro, because of the record they left in fighting for freedom persistently. I call upon you all to remember the core of persistency, because without persistency, you may not cause any impact in this world. When I look at the case which Honorable Lukwago and others are trying to manage, I even laugh, because Honorable Lukwago successfully explained in court. I was there. After that explanation, I don't see anything like a sub judice rule being applied, because under Article 28, Clause 7 of the Constitution, the charges which were narrated in court do not stand. They do not stand because unless Uganda wants to annex Kenya. But Kenya is a sovereign state. So when the chairman of the committee said that on the 10th you should come for mentioning what case which does not stand. There's no case standing. Anybody is free to talk about the case now being pleaded. I would like to thank the lawyers, including Martha, who is a fellow conservationist, for endeavoring to protect the rights of a Ugandan. We should feel proud that we have friends across the republic that are capable of coming to our favor when we are in danger. Finally, the president of NUP talked about the Anti-Corruption Day. In Uganda, if we want to effectively fight corruption, we should adopt the federal governance model, the model of a federalism, to empower the regions with the power to fight corruption. You cannot fight corruption when you have no power. The districts are too small to fight corruption, because under federalism, power fights power. Power checks power. You must own power to be able to check power. That is another very important chapter, which at one time I will endeavor to articulate. With those few words, I urge you all, honorable members from the political parties and the parliamentarians, to copy from the experience which has been noted by us through this important gathering, masterminded by NUP. And we thank NUP. We didn't know that you can be so effective as you are now. Let us use this chapter of collectiveness to endeavor to fight so many other wars that are coming in front of us tomorrow. Thank you very much.